How's everybody doing? Today, I'll be talking about how I started with $0 on Turo at the age of 22. Welcome to the channel, it's Nick, and I'm bringing you along my entrepreneurial journey. And I hope you can enjoy these series, and I hope it's helping someone out there. Today, let's get into how I started and how it's going so far. In the beginning of the year, like January, I made a decision where I was like, look, I'm not financially literate the way I want to be. I'm spending money, I'm not saving money, I don't know where money's going, and I felt like that was very irresponsible of me. And I was getting to an age where it's like, okay, it's not even cool no more, like, let's get this going. I made a promise to myself that I was gonna get that in check. I wanted to increase my credit score. I had like a 638, and I just wanted to know where my finances was going and save more money and start investing in things like stocks. So that's how my whole journey about finances started. Once I started doing that, I was on YouTube University a lot, just watching videos after videos after videos. And I gotta give a shout out to my man, Radical Marketer. He really helped me a lot with his videos. He helped me improve the way I view credit. When I first got my first credit card at the age of like 18, first thing I got was some sneakers. I was like, oh my gosh, I got a credit card that has money on it. I can buy shoes, and I love shoes. But I wasn't thinking of it in an investment mindset. I was thinking of it from a consumer mindset, right? Which kind of didn't mess me up as far as my credit score, but I wasn't sitting at a pretty credit score either. I didn't know what utilization was. I didn't know what the statement date meant. I just know, okay, pay my minimum and that's about it. I didn't know nothing about inquiries and all those other technical things that go into credit. But from watching those videos and learning more about credit, I learned how you can use OPM, other people's money, to go ahead and do what you want to do as far as investments, separate yourself from the pack without having to slave at a job. There's nothing wrong with a 9-to-5, but instead of having to go slave at a job for however long to raise up whatever XYZ amount of money you need to go into whatever business endeavors you want to. I learned about that, and from that, it kind of organically stemmed into Turo, because then I started learning about business credit and how you can get a vehicle in your business name and that debt will not show up on your personal credit. And I'm like, yo, bet. Like, you telling me I can get a vehicle and that debt won't show up, and I could still have like a beautiful, presentable personal credit score, credit history and everything, and I don't have to worry about that debt showing up? I was like, I gotta do this. This is one of the reasons why I'm kind of making this video. It's a couple of YouTubers out there that, talk about Turo, but I felt like it wasn't a lot of information that I was looking for, because it gets to a point, and this is me personally speaking, but it gets to a point where I feel like once you start learning something or learning about something, some of the questions you may have, you literally can't search up. You can't find them nowhere, because you're so deep into whatever you're doing that you're starting to learn about things that people aren't giving out, or you have to have a mentor to go ask, or things like that, right? So it's kind of why I want to make this series, or make these videos, so I can kind of share more. I decided that that's something that I want to do, but I started looking around for like what cars I could go ahead and get, like what market, or how would my market, react to certain vehicles, right? One vehicle that I really wanted out the gate, I was shooting for the moon, right? I wanted a BMW i8. I just love that car, right? And quick backstory, I'm 22 now, right? But I knew about Turo back in high school. When I was in high school, senior year of prom, I rented a vehicle from this guy. I'm originally from Florida, but I go to college in Ohio, and I rent out in Michigan. Yeah, it's a lot, but it'll all make sense soon. But when I was back home in Florida, I rented out this Alfa Romeo 4C from my prom from this guy, and he looked like me. So I've seen this done before, but I just wasn't on that mindset yet, because I was still playing, or I was still focused on sports and things like that, and that was where my passion was at the time. But I seen this guy who looked like me, and he had the 4C, he had a Maserati and a couple other cars, and I met him at this gas station. And my mom, being the person that she is, she ended up asking the guy a little bit more questions about like what he does and all these things, and he shared a little bit with her, and she ended up sharing this with me, but I never really took that into consideration or really thought anything about it. but I knew this could be done. Seeing him do that and me renting out that 4C, I'm like, okay, if I'm gonna do this, I want an IA. I want a BMW II. I just like how it looks. And it was made, so it was around summertime. I'm like, it's a perfect vehicle. But what I didn't know is that you can't just put yourself in the IA if you never had a comparable auto loan on your credit report. And that's where I say a lot of things that you may have questions to, you can't just search it up. And I mean, I probably could have searched that up, but I didn't even know that was a thing. You see what I'm saying? I had to go through that to learn that. If you don't have a comparable auto loan to compare to the vehicle that you're trying to get, banks or these lenders are not going to give you that money, or you're just going to have to put so much down and they'll probably approve the rest. That was quickly like crushed, and I was just sitting like, man, like I really want to do this. I was working at UPS at the time, and I'm like, bro, I really want to do this. I really wanted that car, but like I don't know where to go next. I just ended up going to the dealership, and I seen Audi S5 Coupe, and I'm like, yo, I like this. I test drove it. I'm like, this is the car I want to get. But mind you, I told you how I was big into the credit. Like I started learning more about credit. So what I ended up doing was I went to a credit union. I fixed my credit up to at least a 720. I got it to a 720 credit score, right? Fixed it up, and then I took that 720 and went to a credit union to get approved. And I ended up getting approved for that vehicle. So boom, I get the vehicle, and at that time I had already created a business LLC and everything like that, and I wanted it under my business name. I knew that my business couldn't just get it off the EIN only, which is, the EIN is something comparable to your social security number, is just for a number for your business. So I knew I had to personal guarantee it, which means my credit, personal credit, will be the backup. If my business was to default, then the car loan will lean on my personal on my personal credit, but it won't show unless the business side defaults. Then I ended up learning another lesson. Me thinking that the dealership actually did that, I realized, or I ended up finding out that what they did do for me was a co-buyer. So which means it shows up on my personal and it shows up on my business. And look, that's a lesson learned for me. I didn't even know that. I only knew at the time about personal guarantees, co-sign, and just getting it right out in your business name. I had no clue about a co-buy. But look, I'm learning all this as I go. Wow, so now I have this showing up on my credit plus my business. Instead of looking at it as a negative, like, wow, it's showing up on my personal credit, I actually am kind of glad that it happened that way, because I didn't have any auto loans on my credit at the time. That's how I got my first car, right? I built my 720 up and I went to the credit union and got approved. I had the Audi on tour for about, I want to say 2 weeks. The first week, I had it on there. I had it in Ohio. So this is how I'm gonna get into the point where I'm explaining how I live in Ohio, but I rent in Michigan. So I live about 25 online. I live about 40 minutes away from actually Michigan, right? I'm able to, make that drive to rent in Michigan. And the reason I do is because where I'm located in Ohio, the market isn't that great. I had the Audi in Toledo and it just wasn't doing good. Like, I had it on there for about a week and I wasn't seeing no bookings. So now I'm a little nervous because, I'd never really seen nobody rent out an Audi, and I was, searching the web and seeing what people rent out, and I just kind of went with what I felt was gonna be a great car, because, when I test drove it, the car was crazy. Like, I was blown away. And I'm like, if I'm blown away, I know a lot of people will be blown away as well. But I quickly realized that this market is not for this car. So I decided, hey, let me list it in Michigan and see what happens. And boom, a day later after me listing it in Michigan, it got booked. So I'm like, okay. After it got booked, it just consistently kept getting booked. So we're like 3 weeks in, we're now getting close to June or to the end of May. And I'm like, listen, I'm getting ready to quit my job at UPS. I'm still a college student and I was working full-time at UPS at the time. So I'm like, I'm getting ready to, to quit my job at UPS. I feel like I want to get another car because I like how the Audi's going, but if I can get another car on there, it'll be perfect for me. And then just work with those two cars until I can scale up some more. That's what I did. I wanted a Tesla next. I seen how gas prices was going up. I'm like, the best thing for me to do right now, let me go get a Tesla and advertise it as a way for people to save gas, right? I'm like, oh, look at me thinking about a genius entrepreneur idea, right? So I went ahead and did that. Ended up getting a Tesla. I had to go to Texas to go get it. And I had it delivered here to Ohio. I also put that Tesla in Michigan as well. Started doing great too. In the beginning, it was a little rocky. Like the first 2-3 weeks, it was kind of scattered, but then it started picking up, and then I was able to hit all-star hosts after that. But what really is allowing me to thrive right now is airport pickups. I do a lot of airport pickups and drop-offs, and that has me consistently booked all the time. But basically, moral of the story, or how I was able to really start this Turo with not using none of my money, is my credit. I built up my credit, and not just having like a 700 credit score. So for instance, if you are an authorized user off of your parents' account or brother, sister, whoever, and you just have you're just showing or reflecting whatever they're doing, that's not really gonna put you in a position to be able to leverage that and get funding from these banks. You want to be able to build your 720, or build your 700 or whatever credit score you're looking for to get approved for things with some, accounts, primary accounts, which are accounts that are in your name. So you would want a credit card in your name, a couple credit cards in your name, a loan here, or auto loan there type thing, and you will want some aid. So learning about credit is what got me here. Not a lot of people thought about, being in debt, and I'm no financial advisor or anything like that. This is literally for entertainment purposes only. But if you create a plan, a business plan of how you're going to utilize that money, you're set. Now, this is not something you just do and you go in there blind thinking that, okay, I'm gonna be able to do this and that. You want to be able to do some research. Now, I did a lot of research before I decided to take this step. If you're looking to start anything and saving up the money is not an option for you, please learn how to build your credit. That is one, or a great tool and option that you can lean on to help you start a business. That is it for me. Thanks for tuning in. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'm gonna see y'all in the next video. Peace.